Hey friends, welcome to today's video. Today we are playing with a bunch of new makeup, a lot of new releases. I got myself into trouble this weekend. What can I say? I went into Sephora with a friend of mine who is a makeup artist and also a creator and a makeup lover, and that's just never a good idea. I walked out with way more than I planned, but I was very excited to bring it all in today and create some content and try these products out with you and give you my first impressions and thoughts. So this is a long one. Grab a cup of coffee or grab a cup of tea or a glass of wine or whatever you prefer, and let's have some fun. Let's hang out and talk about new makeup. Let's get started. Okay, let's get started. My lips are dry. I'm gonna apply a little bit of this City Beauty plumping oil on first before I start anything to give it time to hydrate. Okay, I am excited, you guys. I have a bunch of new makeup in front of me. Most of it I purchased myself. There's one product I got in PR here and that's from Tarte, but everything else I purchased myself. I went a little crazy over the weekend. Never go to Sephora with a makeup artist friend. It's just not a good idea. On Saturday, she's like, let's stop, my friend Sonia. She's like, let's stop by Sephora real quick. And I was like, oh, you know what? I do have to get birthday gifts for some of the girls' friends. I like to get them the little glow recipe mini sets. They're really gentle and they're good for like tween skin. So I went in there to pick 4 of those up and I ended up spending way too much money. But that's okay. This is what I do. It's part of the job. It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. All right, let's get started. Now, what is on my skin now? My skincare and my SPF. And I'm very excited because the first product we're going to go in with, look, it is still in the box. I bought this like 2 hours ago on my way to the office. This is the new Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin Natural Finish Foundation. And I'm very excited to try this because I like his other foundation. And the difference between the two from what I've heard is this is going to have more of a, like if you have oily skin or you like more of a little bit of a natural matte finish, this is for you. If you have dry skin and you want a little bit more radiance, the original is good for you. And typically I like a matte finish, but I actually like the other Makeup by Mario. So I think I'm going to love this one. I picked up the shade 4.5 in, and I think it's going to be a great match. I did try it on my hand and it just looked perfect. So let's do about 1 pump. Let's start with 1 pump. 101 brush. I'm going in with the 101. This is the travel size, so the handle's a little bit shorter if you're wondering, but the brush head is the same. And I'm going to pick up the product and really work it into the brush right here on the top of the brush. And I'm going to start to go in the center of the face and just kind of bounce this on the skin. Okay, the shade is good. I think I could have gone 1 shade darker. I think I have 5 in the other foundation, and 5 looked like it was going to be a good match, and then I put this one on and I decided to go with this one. If anything, I want my foundation to be a little bit lighter than my skin rather than a little bit darker. If I end up with one or the other, for me, lighter is better because I go in and I add bronzer and I add blush, and it almost creates like this natural highlight if your foundation is a little bit lighter. Now, obviously the best match is the one that is perfect to your skin tone, but if you can't find a perfect shade, I always recommend going with the slightly lighter one. Okay, I would say the coverage on this is a light to medium. Like it's not full coverage. It actually seems kind of light coverage, but I'm gonna go back and add a little bit more once I get this all blended in. Okay, so far I like it. Nothing's really jumping out to me as like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But I don't see anything that I don't like yet either. So that was 1 pump. I'm gonna add a little bit more in the center of the face just to see if I can build up a little more coverage. I would say the coverage is on the lighter side of medium, just under medium, just between light and medium coverage is what I would say this is at. Okay, let's do a little bit more. I'm thinking I should have gone with 5, you guys, honestly. This works, but I think 5 would have been a better match. Although we're just about to enter fall and winter and, you know, I definitely get lighter. This is building coverage. Okay, I definitely think it has more of a natural finish versus the original Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin. It looks to be a little bit more natural matte, where the other one definitely has more of a dewy finish. Okay, this color works, but I should have gone with 5. I definitely should have. I think that's what's throwing me off a little bit is it is just a little too light. I know I'm like making no sense. I'm telling you should go with lighter, but then I'm telling you that this one is too light. But yeah, it's a little too light. Not to the point where I need to return it and exchange it. It'll work, but I think if it were 1 shade deeper, it would be perfect. So we're gonna let that kind of set and dry down. Right now it has a pretty natural finish. I definitely see that it's a little bit more matte than the original, but it's not like a flat matte at all. There is still a little bit of kind of light reflection happening. And yeah, the next product that I'm excited to share with you, I purchased this because I was in LA last week. Nikki did my makeup for a very special video for the launch of her new brush set. And that video, when Nikki does my makeup, is going to go live on launch day, which is Thursday, September 18th. So mark your calendars. If you don't already have the notifications turned on for my YouTube channel, click that little notifications button so you get notified, because you guys will get to see her in action with the brushes doing my makeup. Well, needless to say, anytime I spend a visit with Nikki and she does my makeup, I always leave with like a handful of product recommendations. So this is one. I picked this up. This is from Caliray. It's the Hideaway Brightening Under Eye Color Corrector. It's a clean hydrating serum concealer, very lightweight. And this was a product that she personally like called out to me when she was using it. She's like, "Oh my gosh, have you tried this?" And I said, "No." She's like, "You need to have this." And she swatched it for me and she was really excited about it. So I was like, done, I'm gonna go get it. It comes in a bunch of colors. This is the shade Golden Hour. When I was in store buying this, I actually saw a few other shades that I think could have worked for me well too, that were a little bit more pinky tone. This one is definitely more of a peach tone, but look at how nice and thin this is. It's a very thin formula, which is so great for underneath the eye area. We really want to stick with thin consistencies. And I am gonna put a little bit of this in the inner corner and a little bit here in the outer corner. Because it's thinner, I'm not gonna be too concerned about applying a good amount of product. And we are gonna see if I can get away with this as my concealer alone, or if I need to go in with a concealer. But I come from the camp of less is more, especially underneath the eyes. So I'm gonna see how far this can take me and if there's even a need for any additional concealer or not. And I'm gonna go in with the A506 concealer brush. And first I'm going to just kind of spread the product all the way underneath the eye, and I'm just gonna let it sit there for a second, kind of dry down a little bit, and then I'll go back in and blend it out. Okay, so we're gonna let that sit for a second. While that's sitting, I'm gonna go in and start my brows, and I'm excited. This is not a new launch, I don't believe, but I was at Sephora this morning picking up the Makeup by Maria foundation, and I wandered over to Benefit to pick up another one of my Precisely Brow pencils because I love that one. And I just started looking at the display and I saw these two products that I have not tried. So I bought them both and I'm very excited. So the first one is the Mighty Fine Brow Pen. I'm not a big brow pen person, but I need to give it a shot. So we're gonna do that today. And then I also picked up the Full Pigment Sculpting Brow Wax. I don't know where I've been living, maybe under a rock, but I had never seen this product before and I'm very excited about it. It's a brow wax, but it comes in colors. It is a brow pen, but the difference and what I kind of like about this is it actually has a tip that has three little, do you see those three little stroke marks? So when you go in to apply it, you're actually getting like the look of three hairs versus one. I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can zoom in and focus and see that. So excited to try this, you guys. Let's give it a try. Now I'm going to start right here in the kind of bulk of my brow. This is where I need to fill in the most right here. I do have my pencil on hand in case this doesn't do it for me. So right off the bat, I can tell you that this is a lot lighter and softer than my brow pencil. And it might be the shade, like maybe I need to go with a darker shade in this, but this is my normal shade in the pencil and it's a lot lighter. I don't know about this. I don't think the brow pen is for me. I'm not really digging this. And again, I don't know that it's this actual product or if it's just the brow pen. It's very light. I'm not a fan of this. And again, it might not be the actual product, but it might just be this type of formula. I need something a little bit that transfers a little bit more. This is very light. We're gonna put this down and I'm gonna go grab my brow pencil, but before I do, it's time to go out and blend out that concealer. So I'm gonna take my A506 and we are just gonna pat, pat, pat and blend this out. So allowing it that time to dry down is actually gonna give me a little bit more coverage from this product because I'm really allowing that concealer time to dry down and set before I completely move it and spread it around. Sometimes when we move and spread and blend around too quickly, it's just kind of shearing the product out a little bit. And I really want to get the maximum coverage from this, especially since I don't want to use an additional concealer. And honestly, I think I did. I don't think I need to use a concealer. This concealed and neutralized. It looks so good. It's so lightweight. It has a kind of radiant finish, like the under eye area is glowing. It does have a little bit of a tacky feel still, not super heavy or too creamy. I really like this product. I got to use it last week when Nikki applied it on me, and my under eyes look so good all day long. So I'm gonna leave it there. I'm not even gonna add concealer, you guys. Okay, I am gonna find my new brow pencil though, because this is a no for me. Again, it might just be that I'm not a brow pen person. Here is my favorite brow pencil. This is the Benefit Precisely Brow, brand new one in the shade 3. So let's go in and let's get some brows on, shall we? We are there. I'm just gonna kind of comb this area a little bit. Whenever you feel like your brows might be a little too strong, just taking the spoolie on the back of the brow pencil and running it through will soften the look. This is a little heavy here because I went in with that brow pen, but that's okay. You know what? We're just gonna work with it. We're gonna go in next with the brow wax, and I'm excited to try this. Again, I got the shade 2, which is a lot lighter. Maybe I shouldn't say a lot lighter, but it's definitely lighter. It's nice because if you look at my hair, I've got darker, like my base is darker, my natural color, but then I've got these highlights in my hair. And so I kind of look at your brows as the same. I like to go in with a pencil that's a little darker than the brow gel. Let's hope that I didn't get too light of a color though. So this is a brow wax. So my expectation is that it'll have a little bit more hold, and then it'll be a little thicker in consistency. It kind of feels like a standard brow gel though. Like I don't really feel like the texture is real waxy or heavy or thick. Okay, as I build it, I'm building it and I can see more of a waxy texture to it. Okay, I like that. Yes, it's got more of a waxy texture. If you let it kind of dry and then go over it, you can start to see the wax build, and it's really adding some volume to my brows. Okay, I like that. That looks really good. It's kind of softens it, gives a little bit more fluff to the brow. I am gonna go back in with my brow pencil, the spoolie, and I'm just gonna comb through this one more time just to really shape the brow and also remove any excess. This is a product that you definitely need to build. If you just kind of run the comb through your brows once, it'll feel like a standard gel. But if you go over it a few times, then you start to see the wax build up and you really start to see the texture of the product. So my first impression is that I really do like this, but it takes some building for sure. So I'm excited. I love good brow products, anything to give my brow a little more volume, a little more fluff, and that seems like a good option. Okay, you guys, for bronzer and concealer, I actually have 2 products to share, and I'm very excited. One of them I know I love because I've been using it for a couple weeks. This is the Natasha Denona High Sculpt Liquid Bronzer, and I have the shade Bonfire. This is amazing. It's so good. I've been using this a couple weeks, and it's very consistent. It's got good color to it. This particular color is nice because it's not too warm, like livens up the face and gives like the sun-kissed glow, but it also contours and can work as a contour as well. And then I picked up the new Haus Labs Precision Sculpt Shaping Balm, okay? And I got the shade Angle. This is like more of a thin little contour stick, and it comes in a variety of shades. Again, I got the shade Angle, and it's more of a cool tone. So we're gonna do one on one side, and then we're gonna do one on the other. So obviously the formulas are different. This is more of like a cream liquid. This is more of like a solid cream. Just given the component and the way that you apply this product is really meant to be used as more of a definer and a sculptor, where this could be kind of more of like a all over kind of diffused bronzer, if that makes sense. So let's try this. I do love Lady Gaga's products, Haus Labs. They make really good products. Their foundation is one of my favorites. It's so good. Okay, so let's just do, it's going to be kind of weird because half my face is going to be with this and the other half is going to be with the Natasha Denona, but I just want to get an idea of how these apply. So you can see this is obviously very cool tone. It's giving very gray vibes. So this is designed to really contour, define, create cheekbones, create definition. I'm going to go in actually with the 112 brush to blend this out. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of bounce the 112 brush over this. Yeah, it's blending out really easily. You can see how strong that mark is and how soft it is now, and that really didn't take a lot of effort. Okay, I'm going to kind of brush this down actually. I kind of placed that a little too high, so I'm going to blend it down. This is really just me kind of getting an idea for the texture, the blendability, the consistency and the performance of the product. It's very easy to blend out and very easy to work with. So it's very user-friendly. Because it's in a stick, it is going to be a little more user-friendly, a little more easy to control versus the Natasha Denona, which I'm about to go in with. But yeah, that is nice. That is really nice. Very soft. And of course we can go and add more if we want to get more definition. You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to do the other side in this too. And then I'm going to go over it with the Natasha Denona bronzer. That's what we'll do. That way we have a little more evenness here. And I'm going to kind of go a little bit lower this time. Now, I don't always contour and bronze. I very rarely do that. I think that's really saved for me for like photo shoots or big important events. I kind of really do one or the other, and I lean towards more bronzer. But I like to find a bronzer that's not too warm. So even though it's designed to give me this sun-kissed glow to the skin, it also does give a little definition. And remember, we don't always need to contour in the areas that you guys see beauty creators contour. You really want to look at your own face shape and determine, where you want a little more definition, what you want to enhance, maybe what you want to bring down a little bit. And that'll really guide you on where you need to contour and where you don't. I normally don't contour my jawline, but for the sake of testing this product and really having more areas to apply it, I am today. Yeah, this is nice. This is really blending out beautifully. It's very easy to work with. Even if you mess up, it's very easy to blend out, which is very nice. Yeah, that's pretty. That's very natural, very soft. Do you see how natural that contour is? Okay, I actually really like this product. If you want a natural contour, this is very good. Okay, let's go back in with the Natasha Denona and apply this. So I'm gonna do a little pump of this. A little bit of this goes a long way. I've been playing with this for maybe a week or two, maybe 2 weeks or so. And there's been some days where I applied it perfectly and some days where I applied way too much. So just be mindful of that. A little bit goes a long way. So I'm actually just gonna apply a little bit and I'm gonna work it into my brush and then I'm gonna even pre-blend it on my hand. I don't want a whole bunch of product in my brush. Okay, it's always easier to go back and add more and much harder to go and correct. And if you over apply bronzer or contour or you bring it down too low, which sometimes bringing it down too low is just a result of having too much on the brush and just blending it out and it falls, that can really drag your face down. And I definitely have done that at least once with this product. So I'm really taking my time to work it into the brush. This brush is also great because it is smaller, so it gives you more control. Okay, do you see how much warmer that is? This is so pretty. I really love this product. The first time I applied it, it was one of those products that I was like, oh, this is really nice. Yeah, look at that. It's so beautiful, so consistent, and I like to run this one along the hairline. This brush is really great for that too because of its size. I'm just gonna sweep it right there on the hairline into the hair. And you can even use a little bit of this on the side of the nose too. Perfect. Oh yeah, do you see that? Oh, this is so good. This is definitely gonna be in my favorites this month. It's a very, very lovely product. The key is just, again, application and don't over apply it. Because if you over apply it, the other day I applied too much of this and I ended up with bronzer down here just because I had so much on my brush and it definitely made my face look sunken and dropped. And the best way you can avoid that is just pump out a little bit, but then also really work the product into the brush and on your hand. See all that product I blended on my hand already? Okay, so let me give you some feedback on this foundation. It is nice, but I'm not blown away, you guys. I'm really not blown away. It's nice, but again, it's just, I almost wish it were a little bit more matte and a little more blurring. I don't really feel like it's softening pores or smoothing out the texture of the skin. It doesn't look bad, but I just think that there are other natural matte foundations that give me a smoother look than this. I'm not really blown away with this foundation, to be honest. It's not bad, I'm just not like, oh my God, this looks amazing, you know? And let's go ahead and set everything with a little powder. Ooh, this will be a really great opportunity to try this product, and this is one I'm very, very excited about. This is the new One Size airbrushed powder, and what I've heard about this is this just totally airbrushes and blurs everything out. So actually, maybe it's a good thing that this foundation did not do that because we can really see the power of this powder. I'm a big One Size fan. I love their loose powders. Those are very blurring, very mattifying, very oil controlling, and I love now that we have it in a pressed. Why does mine look like it's been used, huh? I think mine has been used. Darn, there's like no little protecting powder. Or did I maybe use this already? Maybe I tested this. No, I don't think I did. I think this is used. Ugh, I'm gonna just do it, you guys. I'm gonna take a brush, I'm gonna go in here. But yeah, I think, because there's no plastic covering. And I don't know if you can see, but the top looks dirty. Okay, let's go in. I'm gonna go with the BK Beauty N15. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of this. Let's go do one side first and then we can compare. And I got light because I wanted to be able to use it underneath the eyes. Is this blurring? It is. It is blurring. Do you guys see the difference? Okay, so let's compare this side to this side. Definitely softly mattified the skin, but it's not really, really matte. At least it's not on me. It's tough too when you're testing a bunch of new products because, you know, every product's performance is really going to be kind of based on what's underneath that product. So I could use this powder on a completely different foundation and it could look very different, you know? Okay, it is definitely blurring. I wouldn't say that it's like, oh my gosh, erasing every bit of texture. There are powders I've used that I feel like are more blurring than this, but it is slightly softening texture. And it is mattifying without looking too dry, which is nice. I would give a 7 out of 10. It's nice, but again, just like the foundation, it didn't really blow my socks off. Okay, so just a quick little recap on what we've done on the skin. The foundation, we've done the Caliray brightener, we've done the Natasha Denona High Glam liquid bronzer or cream bronzer, we've done the House Labs, and we've done the One Size. And let me kind of rate these. So the foundation, I would say, is a 7, maybe an 8 out of 10. Same thing with the powder. I would give the powder the same rating. The other 3 products, on the other hand, I really love. I'd give an 8 or a 9 out of 10. Actually, I'd give this Natasha Denona a 10 out of 10. This is so, so good. The Caliray also, I'd give a 10 out of 10. And the House Labs, I would give a 9 out of 10. So far of the products we've tried, these 3 really are phenomenal. The other 2 are good, but they just didn't blow me away. Nothing to complain about, but just didn't totally blow me away. So, okay, let's move on to blush. So for blush, I'm going to be using this ILIA powder blush. These are pretty new, I believe. These are the soft focus blurring blushes, and I got the shade Breathless. I have been playing with this, and I really love it, so I can share that. This is a product that I really, really like. I'm going to go in with the N17 brush. I'm going to use the darker sided fibers to pick it up since it's a powder. And we're just going to sweep this right here on the cheek. Actually, I'm going to pat it. We're going to pat it right on the cheek, kind of blend up. This is a pretty kind of rosy mauve. It's got a bit of a sheen to it. So it's going to highlight the skin, but it's not shimmery or sparkly, which is really pretty. You can really layer this and get great color. These actually give a lot more color than I expected. ILIA products are known for being just a little bit more kind of like easy to apply, hard to mess up. The products I've tried from ILIA are a little softer. This is beautiful. It's soft, but you can really build color and get a full like punch of color, which I like. A punch of pigment, I should say. This is such a pretty color. This would be perfect for like an everyday blush color. If I were still doing wedding makeup, this would be in my kit for brides. It's just the perfect everyday shade. A little rosy, and I love the highlight in here. It's so soft and subtle. So pretty. Okay, this is definitely a 10 out of 10. I'm excited to get more shades of this. Okay, let's move on to eyes, you guys. And I'm so excited because I have this palette. I have almost purchased this palette 2 other times. But I couldn't do it the other 2 times I was by myself. It was $68 and it's tiny, you guys. I actually had this, like I picked this up and I was taking it to the counter at Blue Mercury, and then I realized it was $68, which let's be honest, $70. And it's just a tiny little foreshadow. And I was like, no way, I'm putting that back. I don't need this. I have so many shadows. Again, I was at Sephora this Saturday with my friend Sonia. I showed her these. She's like, oh my God, you have to have it. She's like, I have this one and it's beautiful. And I was like, dang it, Sonia. So I broke down and bought it, but you know what? I am excited to play with it. It's so beautiful. I've already swatched these colors and they're so stunning. This is the Curator eyeshadow palette in the shade Futurist from Hourglass. Let me show you these shades, you guys. They're just so pretty. I forget how many of these they have. They're all beautiful. I forget the other one that I like, but this was the favorite of the 4. I just felt like this is the one that I will wear the most of. Isn't that pretty? So we're going to be playing with that on the eyes. We're also going to be using these new Tarte Smolder Eyeshadow Sticks. Look at these. They are like bigger than a typical eyeliner, but they're not quite as big as like an eyeshadow crayon, like the Bobbi Brown. Look at that. And it has a little smudger on the other side. So I shared these in stories yesterday and someone commented like, will that be a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury? And you know what? It's close, but not really. Amber Haze is a little bit more amber and golden, where this is kind of a little more standard bronze. But either way, I'm excited to play with them. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the eye makeup. I am going to just use a little bit of the Caliray for my eyeshadow primer because I don't have one here in front of me. We're just gonna put a little dollop of that right on the eyes. Hopefully this will work as a good eye primer. Sometimes concealers or color correctors like this can either work well as an eye primer, or if they're too creamy, they can just make your shadow move around. So I'm gonna use the A506 to blend this out. This is just gonna give a little bit of a grip to the shadows, something for them to adhere to, versus like just a dry eyelid or an oily eyelid where you wouldn't really be able to blend out because the shadow would just stick to the oil. So we're just going to apply this. I am going to softly dust a little bit of powder on my lid. I'm going to go in with the One Size, and we're just going to softly dust that. I'm going to actually take a little bit of this powder and press it underneath the eye. And I'm first going to go in with, let's go with this shade right here, the lightest shade. I'm going to go in with the 212 brush, and I'm going to apply this under my brow. It might be a little too shimmery. I might regret doing that. I usually don't like to go in with this much shimmer under the brow, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in the inner corner of the eye so that most of the product gets off my brush and gets right there. And then whatever's left, I'll sweep under the brow. Okay, yeah, that's very shimmery, so I don't want to actually apply a ton of that on the brow. I'm just going to take this and apply it right in the inner corner. I did a little bit on that side, so I need to even them out, but this is really shimmery, too shimmery to be a brow highlight. Ooh, this is so pretty though. This is just a beautiful, soft pearl shade. It's so pretty. Okay, that's so pretty. Okay, next we're going to go in and I'm going to take this matte kind of peanut buttery warm neutral shade with the same brush. We're going to start here in the outer corner. And then I'm just going to kind of work this into the crease a little bit. What I love about that light pearl shade is it just kind of sits on the skin and looks like it's one with the skin. It's so soft. It's a really beautiful pearl shade. Okay, now I'm just going to blend these two together a little bit, create a little definition in the crease. I love shades like this, these warm, like almost orangey browns. They are just so soft and pretty and just really make any blue or green in your eyes pop. Pretty. Okay, next what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my BK Beauty 203 brush. I'm going to load it up with this shade right here, this really pretty bronze shade. We're going to load up the side of this brush. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to lay it down on the outer half of the eyelid and then work my way till about the center of the eyelid. And I'm just packing. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of adding a little bit more layers and a little more definition to this eye look. And we do that by layering textures and tones of shadow. So we started off really light, then we got kind of like a medium shade in there with that matte. Then we're going in with another shimmer that's more of a bronzy tone. So nice. Okay, so just pack. Ooh, look at how that highlight, that light just reflects off that lid and bounces off. These are very beautiful. Are they worth $70? Honestly, no, they're not. They're good, they're beautiful, but I'd give them a 9 out of 10. They're really nice, but don't spend $70 on them. Okay, let's go back and grab a little bit more of this. And I'm gonna go right in the crease. Yeah, these are pretty. I would be really happy with my purchase if these were like $48, $50, but they're so expensive for a small little mini shadow palette. They will be great for travel though. I definitely will get my use out of this and take it with me traveling. If you have a lot of shadows, and I should rephrase that. I obviously have a ton of shadows, so did I need something like this? Absolutely not. If you have minimal makeup and you're kind of running out and you're gonna replace, and this is like your one palette to use all the time, then it's beautiful. But for the cost, I think there are other options out there that are as good. Let's go in and play with these pencils. There are a lot of colors. There's some colors in here that are really light that you could use like as a highlight, like this shade right here. Ooh, look at that. Oh my gosh, look at that. Wow. This is the shade Gaze. This is the shade Sultry. I think this is the one I'm going to use, which I already kind of swatched here, but it's a really pretty kind of deep bronze. This one is the shade Smolder, and this looks to be more of a like eggplant color. Ooh, that's pretty. I'm not going to use this for today's look, but this would be really pretty too with green or blue eyes. It leans a little bit more plum. And then this one looks to be taupey. This is the shade Smoke Show. Ooh, Smoke Show is pretty. Smoke Show kind of reminds me of Satin Taupe from MAC. Do you guys remember that eyeshadow? It's a really pretty taupey, like shimmery shade. Okay, we're going to go in with Sultry though. It's a good true bronze. And I'm going to take it right on here in the outer corner and we're just going to line. Keep in mind this liner is going to be a little thicker just because the applicator is thicker than like a standard eyeliner. Okay, it's very creamy. It's going on with ease, very easy to apply. Let me actually try and take this other side and see how this works. Oh, this is nice. This little smudger is nice because it's definitely stiff. You need these to be stiff, but the material is soft enough, I think, to really smoke and spread this out, which is nice. It's not too hard. I think I want something a little darker on the upper lash line though, so let me blend this out and then we'll see if I can find a darker shade and then apply this on the lower lash line. I always like to do a little bit darker on my upper lashes and I never like to go too dark on the lower lashes. I think a bronze shade is really pretty on the lower lashes, something with a little shimmer, because shimmer reflects light and it makes everything look a little bit softer. And I personally like a softer lower liner look than something really harsh. I also don't like to take my lower liner all the way over. I'm going to try and take this and see. Yeah, this is okay, you guys, but nothing will beat a brush. I'm sorry, nothing will beat a brush. This is the N12, and this is just the best smudger. Yeah, this is doing the job. You want to go in kind of quickly before this liner has time to set and dry down, so you can really move it and manipulate it. Next, I'm going to take the BK Beauty 210. And I'm going to go back into this palette and we're going to take this shade again that we used in the crease and I'm just going to run it over the lower liner just to soften and smoke it out and diffuse it a bit. There we go. That's pretty. This is one of those extra little detail steps you can do that really elevates your eye makeup in the slightest but most impactful way. I do want a little more depth on the upper liner, so I'm going to go in with this shade Tempt, and it looks to be a really rich brown. It almost looked black, but then there is a, oh wow, look at that. That is a really dark brown. Let's go in with this. And for this, I'm just going to really concentrate this right here on the outer corner of the eye, and I'm almost going to work it into the lash line, honestly. That way the line's thin. There you go. Do you see how that just slightly enhanced this lash line? But I didn't get a really thick, dark line because I'm working it into the lashes. It's creamy enough to where you can really do that and you don't have to apply a lot of pressure. What you can also do if you want a little more control is to take a brush. Like you could take the VK Beauty 208 or you could take the N12 and run it on the product. There is a new brush from Nikki's collection that is perfect for this step. Okay, we're actually gonna take one of Nikki's brand new brushes. This is actually the first time that I've used this in a video. I'm actually filming this video. What's today? Today is November. It's not November, Lisa. It's September 8th. By the time this goes live, Nikki will have revealed these so I can use these in this video. Yay, okay, so I'm gonna go in with the N21. This is a tiny little liner brush. Do you see this? I mean, it's just so precise. I'm actually gonna go in with this and I'm going to run it over this product to pick this up. This is gonna give me total control. This is the perfect brush for this little hack right here. Taking a cream or a kohl like pencil and really working it into the lashes. You can even use the brush if you wanna wing it out. Look at this. Do you see that? Look at that. If you wanna wing it out, you can use this brush. It's so good. This is exciting. This is technically the first time I've filmed myself using these brushes. After I film this video, I'm going to be filming my reveal launch video of these brushes. And now that I think about it, I think the one you're watching right now is going to go live after that. So I'm just going to use some of the other brushes in this because I can. Okay, look at that. Look at this. This brush is amazing. It gives the prettiest little wing. It's a soft brush, but it keeps its shape. So it's not like stiff. It doesn't feel like stiff or irritate the eye. It's so nice. Oh wait, you guys, there was one product I completely forgot to share and I'm so excited. How could I forget this? This is the new Danessa Myricks Beauty Multi-Use Pigment Stick. These are cool. Look at them. It's pretty big, but look, you can actually take it apart and get two individual little sticks. And these are little shadow sticks. Are you ready for this? I don't know if you're ready for this. Look at this. Are you kidding me? Look at that. Wow, look at that. Look at how that just reflects light. It is so creamy. It's the most beautiful. So this is number 3. If you go to shop this, you go to order it, you're gonna order number 3 and you get these 2 shades. And this is more of a coppery color. These are so creamy. So pigmented, very reflective, like these high metallic foil shades. I'm gonna go in with this one and I'm gonna add it on top of what we had. Again, just because I wanna play with these products. If I were doing my makeup, I might use these by themselves, but I am gonna go over what we have just to pop. Oh my God. They almost feel wet. When you apply it on the eye, it almost feels wet, you guys. You can blend out with your finger, but I wanna have really good precision. I'm gonna go in with the N13 brush. And I'm just slightly going to feather out the edges. Oh, they feel so good. They are so soft. The slightest bit of pressure is all you need. If you put too much pressure, you're gonna probably end up with too much product applied to the eye. So don't apply too much pressure. All right, and then I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna blend this out. I just want that pop right in the center. That is gorgeous. If you want high impact, this is the shadow for you. Are these everyday shadows? I don't know. It really depends on how you like to do your makeup every day. Not for me, but for me, these are really like that special event, high glam, night out makeup. Gorgeous. Look at that. So pretty. And then let's see how these wear. Okay, so these are kind of dried down. Yeah, so once they dry down, they really stay. I mean, look at this. This is not budging at all. This one's still a little wet. Yeah, these have incredible stain power. They're not even moving. So the key is letting them dry. Okay, let's get some mascara on and I'm gonna be right back. I added a little Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. I'm gonna go ahead and blot my lips and remove this City Beauty lip oil just so I have dry lips. And for liner, I'm going in with this Dior lip pencil. I actually have 2. These aren't a new launch, but I bought them recently and I love them. They are a bit of a splurge, but I really love them. I've been into lip liners lately. So I got the shade 259 Nude Ribbon. Let me show you this shade. It's a really pretty, pinky, kind of neutral. And then I got the shade 329 Nude Blush. Let's show you this shade right here. Well, these actually look the same, don't they? Don't buy them both. Oh my gosh, how funny. I didn't even realize these looked so similar. Look at, okay, so the difference, I guess if you really want to pick a difference, is Nude Ribbon is a little warmer and Nude Blush is a little cooler. I'm going to go in with the warmer one though, because we've got a lot of warmth going on in the eyes. How funny, they're so similar. And I do like these because they have a brush on the end if you want to blend out and soften your lip liner, which I highly recommend because it just gives a really beautiful, soft look to the lips, and it's more natural. So when the lip color wears off, you don't have a harsh lip line. So it's a good brush too. It's really soft and it's like a good quality brush. Okay, so let's go in and line these lips. A very creamy formula, very nice. I'm actually going to kind of fill in a lot of the lip with the lip liner. Perfect. Okay, so I left a little bit of the center bare, but I did kind of fill in the lips well with this liner. And I'm going to go in with this new shade from Anastasia Beverly Hills. These are the matte lipsticks, and this is the shade Peony. They launched some new shades. This was sent to me in PR, and I'm just going to do a nice little swatch. These are so, oh, these feel so good. They're like this cloudy, blurring, velvety matte finish. They're very comfortable. They do not feel dry at all, but they don't feel glossy or creamy either. I would actually say they're kind of like a creamy matte texture. Very soft. Oh, I love that color. That is so beautiful. Because it blurs lip lines, it's actually going to make the lips look fuller, even though it's not a gloss. So if you want a fuller lip look, but you don't want a gloss or a shine, these are fantastic, and I love this color. Look how pretty that is. Okay, you guys, I feel like I need a little bit more blush, a little more color on my cheeks. I'm gonna go in, since I can now share these brushes with you, I'm gonna go in with the N20 from Nikki LaRose. This is probably my favorite brush out of the entire collection, which is tough to say because there's so many good ones, but this one is my favorite. I've been actually telling people that this might actually I'm sorry, 112. I love you, 112. I love you so much. You're such a good brush. You are so, so good. But this one might be kind of taking its place for a little while. I love it. It's a diffuser face brush. You can use this for powders. I love it for blush, for cream or powder. It's meant to just really softly diffuse product. You can actually use a clean brush like this to soften edges. So if you over apply blush or bronzer, you can use a clean version of this to just diffuse and soften the edge. It is so beautiful. I'm going to go back in with the same blush we used just to pick up a little bit more, and we're going to just softly sweep it in this area. It really gives you a lot of control. These are really great for not only like sensitive skin, but mature skin. Very soft and very airy. It gives you just really control to build and softly layer up product. Oh, look at that. So gorgeous. A little more here. That is so pretty. Okay, perfect. All right, and then the last brush I want to use in action is I want to go in with the N19. So Nikki designed this brush to resemble the shape of like a powder puff, you know, to have that angular tip right here and a wider base to really set underneath the eye. I'm going to go back in and grab a little bit more of this powder, really load the brush up. This is also a great brush if you like to bake or you like to use a heavy powder underneath the eye, but I'm just going to use it. And I'm going to go on either side and just kind of press it into the concealer and really set that under eye and also kind of smooth that out. Actually using this brush with this powder, I'm getting more of a blurring and softening effect than with using the N15, which is what I used earlier, which makes total sense because this is a much denser brush. This is a lighter, softer brush. So remember when I applied it with this brush, I was like, that's blurring, but it's not super blurring. When I apply it with this brush, it is super blurring because it's really packing it on. So I'm actually glad that I picked this up to kind of use it because now this powder is performing completely different. That is the power of tools, you guys. That is the power of understanding brushes. And because sometimes you might not like a product and it might actually be maybe you didn't use the right brush for the results you're trying to achieve. When I'm using this brush with this, it is like really blurring. It almost looks like a little eraser. I love that. Oh my gosh, I love that we just did that. Well, this is the finished look. I love the way that it came out. So I'm gonna tag all the products that I use in YouTube Shopping. You guys have probably been seeing them pop up as I've been using them in this video. I love YouTube Shopping. It's a really easy way to shop the products. You can shop them while you're still in video. And I'm also gonna link them in the description box and I'll have my shade names in there as well. The products that really jumped out to me in being kind of clear winners are the Natasha Denona liquid bronzer. The Caliray serum corrector and concealer is really nice. I love this blush. Pick this up. You will not regret it. It's so beautiful. I love the Natasha Denona eye product. I think it's definitely a specialty product, right? Maybe not an everyday thing, but it's really beautiful if you like a little extra glam. I love the Anastasia Beverly Hills lipstick. This is a really beautiful matte blurring lipstick, so nice. The Tarte Smolder Eyes sticks are fantastic. I think the product that was just a little, like I'm still a little unsure about is maybe the foundation. And again, it's not that it's bad. I have zero complaints to say about this foundation. I just think I need to use it some more because I didn't apply it and just get blown away with the payoff, the coverage, or the finish. It was just like, oh, this is nice, but again, it didn't blow me away. So, and same thing with the powder. The powder, when I applied it with the N19 brush, I really loved. So that's the key. If you get this powder and you want mattified blurring finish, you need to use a very dense brush to apply it. Once I applied it with the right brush, I think it went from like a 7 out of 10 to like a 9 out of 10, honestly. It really jumped up a few notches. So, oh yeah, one more thing that's a no for me is that pen. Maybe I'm not a fan of pens. I don't know. Do we like brow pens? If you love a brow pen, drop a comment with your favorite brow pen and maybe I'll go try it and give it another shot. Love the brow wax. This is good. I really found a lot of clear winners in this video. So I had fun filming it. I hope you had fun watching it. Thank you for being here with me and I will see you in my next one. Bye.